Oof. Oof. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday indeed. How are we all doing today, boys and girls? Yeah, it is that time of. I don't know, honestly. Well, it is time for us to embrace our inner general, but also our inner civilization guru, and play some games. Yeah. No, maybe we should do an age. So I thought we would try something new today. So instead of and this was just a half-baked idea that I conversed with our military history clique corporation, and the idea really is quite simple. In fact, no, yeah, not in fact. Instead of in the past we used live maps. I used London. We created our own maps. I used the map generator. So this is now a full planet, and the idea is not only are we going to play with civilization, we are also going to, or in warfare, but we're also going to play with civilization. I'm just going to go grab a sweater. One second. Ow. Oh. Yes, just a sweater. Give me 1 second. Ow. All good. Ah, okay, we're good. So, what was I talking about? Yes, we will sort of have a more um we'll tell a sort of a grander story at the same time as involving a lot of warfare. And yes, I appreciate that some of it isn't exactly what we had discussed in the past, but it should be fine. Should be fun. Yeah. Oh, I need my trackball. There we go. Okay. Oh, maybe I should have used my drawing tablet. That's too late. Not today. uh, well, so again, right? Like the whole conceit behind this is that not only do I want to play sort of with military strategy and all of that, but we also want to talk about sort of the rise and fall of civilizations and all of that, and that is, at least to me personally, that is more interesting. Or maybe I shouldn't say more interesting. I should say that it is interesting in a different kind of way compared to pure military history. Right? Like for example, if we want to talk about, like, if we use an example from Earth, Brandenburg, Prussia, and later the German Empire, that really is an intersection of military doctrine and geopolitics. And oh, just give me 1 second. Yeah, and so like the military doctrine of Prussia, well, actually Brandenburg to begin with, evolved out of its geopolitical position, and with Prussia and then Germany, especially Frederick the Great, it sort of cemented this idea of 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 warfare. But that idea of warfare is purely derived from its position at the center of Europe, right? Like, like there is just so much culture infused into that military, and that comes back into the politics, that it is essentially impossible to talk about one without the other. And people who do talk about one without the other are not doing the subject justice, right? Like, we could go back to say World War I, World War II, and talk purely about the military campaign and who could have done this better or they could have done that better, but it doesn't really capture the whole idea anymore, because no general exists outside the sphere of their own cultural history, right? Outside of their own cultural upbringing. Like, we all exist within our own cultural upbringing, and so no general really, like, no general is simply an independent mind that analyzes things with complete objectivity, because that's simply not how the human brain works. And so the idea really is that I want to use this particular segment, if we manage if it's interesting enough that it gets re-sponsored, I want to use this segment to talk about that intersection between politics, between culture and military, and how one influences the other. And through that, we will also be telling interesting stories for these nations. That appear on here, right? Or that will appear on here. So let's no, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Don't worry about it. No. So to address some of these comments, no, I'm not smoking anything of interest. But don't you think it's interesting like this though, right? Like to me, as a avid admirer of humanity, if not individual humans, an admirer of human history and the capability of humanity to accomplish great things as a species. Note, as a species, not as individuals. As a species, I think the main characters that I like to talk about in my writing are the cultures, not necessarily individuals. Like, definitely not as individuals. One quick second. Okay, there we go. So when I want to do these types of stories, I never really focus on the individuals, because no individual is, as we've talked about right just now, no individual is completely separated from their cultural, I would call it a cultural inertia, right? So you can grow up in a culture, not be involved in it at all, but the simple fact that you're growing up in that culture, in that society, there are certain expectations that are infused into you in that society, right? And so to me, the main character is never an individual person. I do use individual characters as a sort of exposition device to talk about how that particular culture influences this character to do something. It can be a positive influence, it can be a negative influence, but the characters themselves are never the main point, because no character can completely dissociate itself, undefine itself from the underlying culture that they've grown up in, and that they've grown up in, and that they sort of live within, right? So as humans, it's impossible for us to do so. And so that's why I think, like, when we do these segments, and I realize the screen has been static for no, my computer hasn't died. The screen has been static, so let me just move this just a little. Okay, there we go. Oh Oh, what was I going to say? Right. Well, this segment will involve sort of the idea of humanity evolving on this, or humans, culture and civilization evolving on this planet, and it will be a clash of cultures. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, yeah. Like, to me, I would have a lot of fun with this. Like, I would be happy doing this even without an audience. Obviously, I don't really have the time to do it without an audience, but um, yeah, yeah. Questions? Oh, actually, before we start, let me grab my notebook because I'm going to be writing this stuff down. Ow. How much time do we? How much time did I use? Oh, I've already used 10 minutes. That's all right. We'll go for slightly longer today. It'll be fine. It's a Sunday, we can enjoy. I just need to prepare my notebook. If you give me one quick second. So I don't know how many of you know this. I think most of you don't. But I like my notebook. Can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay, good. I like my notebook in just a very particular way. And what I mean by that is one quick second. I like my notebook in this way where I have a short margin on the outside of the page and a slightly larger margin on the inside of the page, and I will write the date sort of vertically on the outside of the page, and it looks pretentious as yeah, exactly. Yes, it looks pretentious as hell, but it helps me sort of think like that because the outside margin gives date and the inside margin allows me to essentially use that space as a place for rough notes, and it just works out really well. I originally, like a long time ago, I would buy these expensive notebooks that had all of that sort of put in for me, but I never really liked their way of doing it. So now I do it myself. Like, I have I essentially, what I buy is dot grid notebooks, like the stuff that people use for bullet journals, and then I just every morning I draw some lines in. I draw some lines in, yeah, and so no, it's not that I didn't prepare the notebook for today. It's that the first page was already full, and so I needed a new page. Yeah, but anyway, let me just what should we call this? Project Civilization. Civilization. I can't spell. There we go. Okay. Oh, that doesn't help. I'm gonna need more lights. I don't usually write in the place, like, I don't usually use a pen in the place where I do my broadcasting, so I never really had that problem. So, but nah, it's fixed. Okay. So, what are we doing? We are going to start with this. I don't know, what do we want to call it? Project Civilization, right? We're going to start. Oh, actually, before we start, let me talk about the map real quick. Map projections are really interesting, but we're not going to go into too much detail on map projections. But the idea is to use a projection. So obviously, a planet is a sphere, and you cannot possibly represent a sphere properly on a two-dimensional surface because the arc lengths are different at different latitudes and latitudes, and it's just impossible to fully project out a map onto 2D, right? Like, I'm sure we've all heard of this before. And so there are intense studies on how to go about doing that, and to this day, like, it is weird. Well, no, there are different ways to do it for different purposes. The traditional Mercator projection that we know of, that you would normally see in like a classroom and stuff, that makes Greenland look really, really big. I think a lot of you wouldn't. Actually, I don't even know what you think about map projections. I don't care. But the idea is that traditional projection is not very good at denoting the size of land masses. What it is really, really good at is angles. So when you measure an angle on a Mercator projection, you are always correct in that so the angle between two points, right? Like a flat Mercator projection map will give you the proper angle between two points, and therefore you can navigate by that map. And so the original C maps were all Mercator projection, because that's just the best way to do things, right? Like, you know where you are, and you know where you want to go, and you just measure it on a map, and bam, there you are. It makes it really simple. The problem becomes when you want to show the size of land masses and all of that, like what we're doing here, right? So, like, if I want to show the size of an empire, if I want to calculate the distance between two points, Mercator projection is terrible at that. There's no good way to no real, like, simple good way to calculate the distance between two points on a map, simply because, as we've said, right, like, the arc length on a sphere is different just wherever you are, right? So even this is just at best a very weak attempt at comparing the land masses to them to each other, right? So the distances aren't going to be the same. The angles are definitely not going to be the same, right? Because obviously, like, I guess I didn't talk about this, but essentially what happens is it's cut at this triangle, but that means that this line goes directly here, right? So what you can think of this is you see how the center is all perfect squares? You can see the squares here, right? The center is perfect squares. And what that really means is that what am I trying to say? That this projection is actually not. It's not a sphere at all. What it is a box. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's a 5-sided box with triangular tip, right? So it takes a sphere and it reduces it down to that. The problem I have with this particular projection is that when you get closer to the poles, the distance is still quite. I shouldn't have used this projection. See, like, it doesn't change the vertical distance, right? So this area, or rather this area, looks like it is about as tall from north to south as that area, and that's simply not true, right? Like, that's simply not true. There's no. I don't. At least I don't think so. Let me. Oh, maybe I should have spent more time on this map projection. Oops. Yes, you have every right to laugh at me. Yes, of course. Of course. Why would you not have a right to laugh at me? Come on. Actually, maybe I can show you this this thing instead. Let's do that. Here. Just give me 1 second. Go here. Huh. I don't see it, which is weird, but is there really no window? Oh, there is no window. Okay. All right. Excuse me? Oh, you know what it is? Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Okay, because the software is written in really old language, it doesn't actually. That's a bit disappointing. Okay, let me just double check this icosahedral sphere map cosmographer. What? No. Forget it. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. We're just gonna use this. It's okay. Just keep in mind that this distance is probably not going to be the same as that distance. Blah 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 blah. Right? Like this essentially shrinks down the pole areas of the Mercator projection. You can think of it that way, right? It takes these east-west stretches and compresses them, but it doesn't do anything about the north-south. One quick second. Okay, cool. Yes, I know. I spent 20 minutes talking about this. It's okay. I mean, you guys don't have anything else to do on your Sundays. Judging by the amount of crap you spew in the channels, like most of you are just being bored, right? Actually, I know of at least 3 people that are billing their clients for the time of watching my stream. Actually, 3 more than 3, right? If our administrator can confirm, I'm fairly certain we. I mean, they had justification for it. Nobody's gonna bill for no reason, right? Like, what was I remember one justification was, oh, we needed to learn more about COVID-19, and so therefore we were watching this instructional video. And it turns out the instructional video was my talk on the Omicron variant and the mathematics behind that. So do I feel bad for your client? No, not really, because I know these are really rich clients, so mostly corporations. So whatever, it's all good. Would it be better to use a Mercator? That's a good question. Why don't actually? You know what? Why don't we do this? Let me bring out. Let me see if I can just simply. If I can simply export as Mercator. Default. Am I not allowed to use this to export as? Yeah, I want to see if I can export this as a Mercator projection. Width. What is my width? Main window. JPEG quality orange. That's a bit. What is this width? And this width is 16,000 pixels. 16384. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just say it's 16,000 pixels. Window, okay. Calculating image data. Yeah, because I do tend to agree with that. Maybe having it as Mercator projection would actually make more sense in the long run, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, so the idea is then we just sort of have to mentally assign more weight to the center of the map. Or I mean, I can also try to shrink it. Or you know what? No. Perhaps we should just let's do a Discworld style. We'll do it. We'll do a Discworld style where the water sort of falls off the end of the world, so it's nice and flat. Yeah, exactly. Like if I use a Mercator projection and then do a Discworld style, of course it's not really a Discworld. In that case, it's, well, I mean, it's still a disc, but it's more like a square. Yeah, we'll do it square world style. Where's the fire? What are you? What? Oh, okay, it's saved. I specified a folder for it to save it in, and then it saved it in my documents folder. And not even my documents folder. Where did you save it? Why under one? What? Okay. Okay, so that must have been my fault. I mean, it's always my fault, but in this case, it's actually my fault. So let's try this. Well, these are really big files, right? Because I wanted to use a large resolution, which would allow me to, which would essentially give us a nice, it would allow us to zoom in and still look for things to look nice. So you can see here, right? You can see here we're talking about the Mercator projection now. It's perfectly flat, and you know what? Yeah, that'll do nicely. Let's do that. 16,008,145. So this 16,000. Do you guys see this options? No, you don't. Okay, just trust me that something's going on. 815. Excellent. Okay, so now this is locked to that. Here, locked to this image. Excellent. Okay. So now with this locked, essentially the idea is, oh, I don't need a grid in that case. Yeah, let me get rid of the grid. Delete. Okay. Or actually, maybe a proper grid, eh? Altitude, enable grid, latitude spacing, longitude spacing, top, left, bottom, line width. What? Huh. I did it at 1,000 feet. No, this because it assumes that we're building a planet. So okay, so let's redo this. I'm going to save that here. Wait a second. Why are there where's there empty white space? I don't need main window proportions. I just need there to not be any white space. Can I not do that? Yes, the software is bullying me. That is generally how these things go. Don't you guys remember? That is literally my life. 1 second. I'm gonna try to. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Save as 3. I want to replace that, and I want to have. What does that even mean? Okay. 16,000. Let's do 20,000. You know what? YOLO, right? Yeah. I wonder how big. Oh, I wonder how big this file is gonna be. uh, oof. The last file was already 500 megabytes because it's a bitmap, right? So the problem with it being a bitmap is every single bit has to be accounted for. The bitmaps are not like JPEGs and PNG files where there is some amount of compression going on to, or I mean, normal bitmaps. The original way that a bitmap worked is simply at this location there's this color, right? And if you have 20,000, a resolution of what was it, 20,000 by 15,000, that's a pretty big number, right? That's a pretty big number of, yeah, that's a pretty big number of bits that you then use. And if you have to store for every single one of them, that means you're using up a lot of memory. I think that's fair. It's been calculating image data for the last minute. Yes, I'm deliberately trying to run down the time. Yes, of course. Yeah, why don't you report me to the FTC? Okay, I need to make sure this is said. But obviously don't actually report me to the FTC because there's nothing the FTC can do. Well, no, I am not a monopoly, right? Like, okay, you cannot there's a difference. And I understand what you're arguing. You're arguing the fact that only I can provide this service and therefore I am a monopoly, blah blah blah. But you're defining the nature of the service too narrowly. You're defining the nature of the service as the service that I can provide. And if you use that as a definition, then of course I'm a monopoly, right? If you say like if you're defining the service as a cheeseburger from the McDonald's at the corner of 32nd and whatever avenue, then yeah, by definition that will be a monopoly because that is literally the only place where you can get a cheeseburger that is at 32nd and Avenue of the Americas. Actually, does that even exist? I'm terrible with maps. Forget it. It's all good. The point is, if you define your services narrowly, everything is a monopoly. So you cannot define the service as the existence of muses, right? Like that's like muses as a stream cannot be a monopoly because it's not linking it. It's still inserting. Can I link? I just want to link. So what I'm saying here is I want to link a file. I want to link an image. I don't want to actually. Oh wow, this is a 1 gigabyte file. Oh. Ah. What can we do? If we could have stored it as a vector, that would have made a lot more sense. Anyway, yeah. So like, if you define the service as something that only a single entity can provide, then of course it's a monopoly. But you can't, right? In this case, you have to define the services as, at the very least, as a streaming entertainment service provided by some douchebag. Which, yeah, and in which case, like if you think about it, there's a lot of people that can fulfill that role. 20,000 by 12, 33, 44, 20 by 12, 34, 4. Excellent. Okay. Wait, what? Come out. Excuse me? Oh, okay. Hello? Where's my magnifying glass? There we go. I want zoom to be 100%. There we go. Where's my hello? Hello? Okay, so there's the color. What am I looking? Oh, okay. Right. At 100%, we are actually like this deep into, and you can see all this nice, lovely terrain that was generated for us and the bitmap from it. This is actually going to be great. Well, great for me, I know. Don't strictly care about them. Okay, let's do this. Yes, thank you for bearing with me. Now we're actually going to start. Fingers crossed. So remember, several constraints in this. Actually, let me put a constraints box. Constraints. Lockless. Okay. And then constraint, right? Okay. So first, there we go. First, disk world. World exists on a flat plane. No spherical projections required. Therefore, distances are accurate, angles are accurate. Right, so that's actually really important, because now that we have these constraints, that means we can simply use a ruler to measure the distance between. Oops, I just knocked my my table really hard. That's okay. Angles are accurate. I can't spell requirements. Oh no, what am I saying? I can't spell. No spherical projection requirements. There we go. Okay. Right? Cool. Good. Why am I so annoying? I'm not annoying. No. No, I believe it is you who is annoying, okay? Oh, weird. Oh yeah. So if you note the edges here, I didn't do a really good job of making sure the viewport was completely settled, but that's okay. It's just a little bit of white space. So everything outside of there be dragons. Cool. Does the water just flow off the edge? Yes, it does. How's the water replenished? There's a big pump underneath the world that catches the water and then pumps it back out into the bottom of the ocean. So if you fall off the edge, you are still dead, because you first fall very, very far into a colander, and then the colander is actually not a colander, just another pool of water, and then it gets sucked back up and pumped into certain areas in the ocean. Cool. Like for example, here, the deeper portions, just so the water itself is replenished. How does the water fall down in space? There's a artificial gravity generator underneath there. Yes. and actually it's impulse based, and so therefore by pumping water up back onto the disk, it uses that sort of force to generate the gravity. Yes, Newton's third, right? Equal and opposite reactions. Yeah, exactly. It is the world's greatest hydroelectric dam. Yes, on the outside. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. The world's greatest hydroelectric dam. People, there are turbines, water turbines on here. Like everything that goes through it gets chopped. It gets minced into pieces, and the gravity from the fall of the edge of this plate then drives the energy that's required to generate the gravity itself. To keep to draw the water down. Yes. And to pump the water back up, actually. Yes, exactly. That's. I don't even know what I don't talk to me. Let me measure the distance from one side to another, just so I have a good idea. So I want to go from here to here. No. I want to go from here to here. So it's 10,000 miles north to south. What is that in kilometers? I have no idea. Can you imagine using miles? Oh my god, 10,000 miles to km. 16,000 kilometers. Okay, so let's note this down. Oh right, it's locked down. Okay, so north to south and 16,000 kilometers. Okay. And what is east to west? East to west is what is this projection again? Let me just double check. Document size 20,000 to 12,344, right? So let me just do the math right now. 12,344. So 16K times 2 divided by 1.24. Calculator 16 multiplied by 2 divided by 1.2344. 26. About 26,000 kilometers. What is the Earth? Is 40,000 kilometers. Okay, so this is a slightly smaller planet. Presumably they needed to they needed to use the rest of the resources to build the giant turbine set, The world's greatest hydroelectric plant. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Well, okay, so I can't believe I'm gonna have this conversation, but yes, you would the water that comes down, it only has enough energy in an ideal world to push the same amount of water to go up. So you cannot use that to generate additional gravitational energy to pull people, right? Like that simply doesn't work. The physics wouldn't work out for that particular issue. But I think that's fine. I don't care. we're not going to in our headcanon have just like gigantic turbines surrounding our disk world, okay? Okay, so we are now at 45 minutes, and I really don't have time to continue. Well, I mean, I've been talking for 45 minutes. What do you want? More do you want from me? Okay. Anyway, that's it for today. Next Sunday, if I can convince these people to sponsor another one, we'll continue doing this. If they want to sponsor it in any other day, that works too. But you know, actually, maybe on Tuesday I'll do one on my own times just to make sure that we have that everyone has an idea of what I mean by when I say civilizational, a civilization and military game. Cool. Okay, now. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, download Firefox. Please don't do Chrome. And yeah, thank you. I definitely will not accept that I wasted your time today because it was an amazing experience. And yeah, so thank you for 46 minutes of your time today, and I shall see you guys tomorrow. I have no. What are we doing tomorrow? I have no idea. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow. Like as we usually, right? Okay, bye now.